Hey everybody, it's Mary Catherine here from Transformational Life and Self-Love. I'm just wondering, am I live? I think I am. Hi guys, I wanted just to pop on this evening. Happy World Peace Day. Hope you got to catch my live meditation and peace light language transmission earlier on today. Please check it out my page if you haven't. And you can do it before the evening is out as well. And enjoy. But Christine, hi sweetheart. I popped on tonight just because I was having a little think about things today, and since I'd done the live meditation yesterday and the day before on I Love You Me, and that being like a meditation where you talk to yourself out loud, you know, I wanted to hi Andre. I wanted to kind of go into why we have self-talk, why we'd have that conversation with the self. Like there's a whole method around it. There's a whole reason that's been proven it works around why we talk to ourselves out loud. And I just wanted to touch base with people on that because it can sound absolutely freaking bizarre and crazy and lula. Hi Andre, hi Pam. When we kind of, you know, you hear yourself talking out loud to yourself, especially if other people are listening. But sure, if you think about it, like, I love you too. If you think about it, kids all the time talk to themselves out loud. They have full-blown conversations with themselves and they're not conscious about it. You know, it's not like they're like, oh, I'm really self-conscious about this. No, they talk to themselves. And if you listen to how a child does it, oftentimes if there's a task they have in front of them, they'll actually talk themselves through doing that task. Like, well done me, I just put the Lego piece here, or, oh, you did a really good job. You know, there's like this, no worries, Christine, you can catch this out again. There's a sense that kids can have this natural ability, especially if they've been shown it, about self-validation, right? And the reason I say like talking out loud to yourself, especially doing a process like I Love You Me, what you're doing is you're connecting deeper in. Hi Michelle, you're acknowledging, and of course our egos, right? Little fellas and gals up here, our egos, the little girl, the little boy, I mean, that part of us loves to be validated. It loves to be acknowledged. In fact, it's often like screaming at us to acknowledge it. And it can do that in a whole way of like negative self-talk, or, you know, talk that's bringing your vibration low. So what we want to do first is, like, when with I Love You Me, we do talk out loud. It's conversational technique that's out loud, but you don't even need to use that method at all to start doing this. You can breathe and connect into your body, you know, do your breathing, connect in, close your eyes and start asking yourselves a couple of questions. And this can help get to any root of any issue. It can help you figure out, you know, is something stuck in the body? Is something stuck in the mind that needs to be seen and then released, you know? So you could ask questions, you know, go in, breathe, connect. Get into your soft, open, receiving space and just asking that first question. How am I feeling right now? And you might get a word or a sense or something's going on, and you can go there. You know, you can go right in there. You could even start talking to the little boy, the little girl, the ego self, and say, you know, what is it you need? You're trying to get my attention by having a loop running. There's a loop running in my mind. What do you need right now? What validation do you need? You know, what is my self-talk? What's it about? Is it about comparing myself to somebody? Is it about something that happened 20 years ago and I'm replaying a loop of that program? You know, what is it about? Was I triggered by somebody and suddenly this old pattern of unworthiness or not good enough or whatever it is comes up? So asking these questions and having the conversation out loud, not in your head, like not kind of going, how am I feeling and am I saying it in my head, but actually saying it out loud. Because when we voice something, We're using the sacred truth, the sacred voice here. We're saying it out loud. It's a vibration. We have made something into a vibration out loud. It's a wave. It's going to come right back into your ears. You're going to absorb that, and it's going to sit and land way more easily than if you just thought it. Okay, so that's part of the reason we say things out loud. Your voice has resonance, it has vibration. When you speak out loud, you receive it back in. And you breathe it back in. You can swallow your words and see where they land. So part of this whole thing as well is when you start talking to yourself out loud, you're actually doing a pattern interrupt. Okay? When you connect in with yourself, using the breath, connect to the body, start asking yourself, what do you feel? You see the little boy, you see the little girl, what is going on? That's a pattern interrupt. Your brain goes, wait a minute, Mary's talking to me. I better listen. What's going on? Or the body, if you're going into the body, if there's a pain in the body. I mean, I even did it with my shoulder earlier on today. And you know what came up? Because I will tell you right now, I did this myself today. I had a tight shoulder here and I stopped and I put my hand and I was like, okay, what is this? There's a reason this is here. It's not because I slept funny. It's an emotional reason. I knew that anyway, just intuitively. I breathed it, I closed my eye and I put my hand on it and I was like, okay. I started massaging it and breathing into it. And I was like, hello, shoulder. You know, I'm talking to you. I hear you. You're trying to tell me something. What is it you're trying to tell me? And I just got soft and I got still and I just allowed the breath to keep going in. I did that for 30 seconds, a minute. And then a word came in. The word was inadequate. And I was really surprised to hear that. And I was like, what? Shoulder, why are you feeling inadequate? I'm really sorry. Forgive me. I didn't know you were feeling inadequate. And it was like I was holding an emotion here, a thought process had landed here of being inadequate. And it was like, where was that? And I followed the thread back by asking questions. Why? Where did this start? How long has this been here for? And I followed the thread back with this curiosity of a child. And that's it. Go into it like a child. We're talking about children. They ask, they have conversations out loud. Curiosity. Why? When? What? Where? How? And it came all the way back to just around 4 or 5 days ago. I was doing a live and I didn't think it went very well. And I didn't consciously think this. It was like some part of my perfectionist me, an old program, had come up. Hello, perfectionist me. I then went to talk to that. So using and saying this out loud, it's like a little step by step, and it's like you're playing a game. You're playing the game of having the conversation out loud, innocently, curiously, without expectation, without judgment, and you get to the root very quickly, very, very quickly. So this type of conversations with self. And when you do that, when you find out, you just keep, I'm sorry, I love you. What do you need? And then you can say thank you and all this, like you're just piling on the gratitude, you're piling in the love. Pooja, hi, nice to see ya. Welcome. What we're trying to do is to pile on love and to pile on self-acceptance. So we're not ignoring I'm not ignoring what happened here in the shoulder. I'm not ignoring that I felt inadequate. I'm not trying to brush it under the carpet per se. I'm pulling that carpet up, I'm going right in there and I'm having a look and I'm talking to it. I'm having compassion for this part of me that felt this way. So this type of technique, this type of talking out loud, seeing, feeling and using all your senses, feeling, seeing, touching and hearing yourself, really listening with that ear of a child that's like, children have that whole thing of tell me more, I'll listen, I'm fully in. So we want to get that way too. And the more we become like that, the less resistance we'll have. The less resistance the little boy and the little girl will have up here. Less resistance the ego mind will have. It'll receive us so much more. It'll show us so much more of what's in the subconscious. It'll start bringing it right to the fore. So you're like, boom, 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 boom. Just release this. Out it goes. That pattern is gone. That loop is gone. I'm not ruminating on this anymore. There goes that program. Oh my God, I can fill myself up now. What am I going to fill myself up with? And this is kind of the next part of what I wanted to go into. So after you do a pattern interrupt and you want to rewire and reframe those programs through positive self-talk, through loving self-talk, through compassionate self-talk, what does that look like for you? You know, what would compassionate, acknowledgement, validating self-talk look like and feel like to you? So, a couple of questions. What if talking and having this type of conversation with yourself, you know, what if it's actually you getting you the way no one else could ever get you? What if it's you listening to yourself the way no one else could possibly listen to you? And that's a gift. Like, you can hold you. You can support you. You are responsible for you. And what if having these conversations is just a wonderful, wonderful way to open that door wide up. Wide open, wide open, wide open. And the more open you are, the more soft you can become. Get the breath in there, and in with that breath, you're just going to feel more and more and more. You just become so self-aware. And where we have awareness, that's 50% of that's 50% of it all there, bringing awareness. When you have that awareness through these type of conversations, it becomes so much easier to love yourself more. So even like I had a couple, some of you were on that meditation I did, was it yesterday? Oh my God, my days are going into one another. Yeah, I think it was yesterday, the day before yesterday. And at the very end of that meditation, I had you all say hello to yourselves. You're really connected in, you had gone right in, you dropped into the body, and you started to speaking to the little me. You were like, hello me. You're breathing yourself in. Thank you, me, for being here. So piling on the appreciation. And I had, at the end, it was like, I love you, me. And I asked you all to breathe that in like medicine and notice where it landed. Now, I could sense, and this is just sense, that one or two of you out there that were listening at that time, or perhaps listening in the future, when you would say, I love you, it was like hanging. And I know when I started this process, it was like the word hung out here. It was like all the way out here. And it was like, and it was hard for me to bring it back in because it didn't feel true. It was like my mind, my ego mind was saying, girl, you don't love yourself. That's not the truth. You're not worthy of loving yourself. And this was like, I wasn't even aware of that until I started doing this. So you can always change it to something that your ego will accept, the little girl, the little boy will accept. It could be something like, I am in the process. I'm in the process of loving myself more every day. What needs to happen now for me to love myself more? What would that look like? And again, you're asking these questions, but you're stopping and you're breathing and you're receiving. You might get a flash of a word. You might get a flash of an image. You might just get a deep sense and knowing of what it is that you need in that moment. Anything that's off in harmony, anytime there's a loop, we have these loops in the brains. Anytime there's that rumination or anxiety, anytime there's that negative self-talk, I'm not good enough, I'm not, inadequate was my one. I'm not smart enough, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not rich enough, I'm not X enough, whatever it happens to be. It's like, I'm just taking that breath to breathe in because I can feel the energy when I'm talking about this. Allow your body to drop in. You can do it with me while we're here. So any of that disharmony, right? Any of that disharmony, it's jarring, right? Anywhere it's jarring and it's going round and round in the brain. When we have these conversations, we're putting a little pin, boop. So that loop is going to like go, it's going to keep trying to go and go back in the same loop. But when we start seeing things and when we start pouring in the love, we pour in the love here, we pour in the love to all parts of you. And even if it doesn't feel like you actually love yourself, always just being in the process. Because being in the process is giving the brain, okay, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm trying. I'm in the moment of doing it. I'm practicing it. Um, yeah, I'm pretty passionate about this because it works. I use it with everybody I work with, and it's a beautiful gateway, like a portal, like you're opening up little portals into all of your chakra systems, into the third eye. So your gifts start to open when you start using this kind of stuff. See you, Pooja. Thank you for joining. Um, and you know, it's just that type of, it's so easy. Everybody can do this. I mean, kids can do this. Everybody can do this. It works. So what I'm kind of getting at is I would love for us all, whoever's out there, whoever is watching, whoever's going to watch in the future, type replay. What would it be like if you could fill up your reservoir right now, and the reservoir being your heart, right? What would your life look like if every single day you took a couple of moments out, a couple of moments between hours, a couple of times a day, and you consciously breathe it into the body and fill your reservoir up, the banks of your heart, with stuff like, I'm in the process of loving myself more, or well done me, you handled that really well, or well done me, you did your self-care in this, great job. It's that sense of how can you fill up the mind. You thought something beautiful about somebody, or you really appreciated that flower and that bee, or you've had loving thoughts of your children and it just melts you. I mean, it's like actually acknowledging that you're doing these things, and that's a sense of, wow, I'm a really good human. I'm doing a great job of humaning here. Wow, I actually have a heart that's full, and sometimes I just need to acknowledge it. And it's like, where we've had the unworthy, where we've had the not good enough, where we've had self-loathing, self-hatred, sabotage, whatever it was, and our banks are a little low, we're now slowly filling up that heart space, bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit, until you don't even realize it. Your vibration has raised. You don't even realize it, that trigger now no longer affects you whatsoever, because you have actually up-leveled. And when I say up-leveled, it's like you've had a massive perspective shift. So something so simple as having these kind of conversations with yourself, using that as a tool in your toolkit to connect with yourself, to validate yourself, to acknowledge yourself, to start kind of going in, releasing all the bits that are stuck and just bringing in love, harmonizing all those bits. Suddenly you've like, whew, that no longer bothers me. I now have a prosperous heart. My heart is full. When you have a full and prosperous heart, everything in life is easier. It comes with more grace. There's less struggle. I use the word prosperous because, yes, I also mean abundance. When we've gotten, when we've released our lack, and that's lack in any area, not good enough, not what enough, whatever, you're going to have a vacuum there that's going to fill up. It's going to fill up with all the good stuff because you're consciously putting it in there. So here's to more abundance with that, please. Yes, thank you. Send it my way and send it your way. So another way to look at this is what's nourishing to you versus what's punishing. So release anything that's punishing you. And that could be thoughts of, and I'm kind of going into a little bit of a flip here because I think this, I resonate with this part. Like, we have like, I say little boy, little girl ego, but it's almost like you could split that ego into two. Inferior ego to superior ego, right? And I know when I started, I'd have a flip between both. And it's like we're releasing that old paradigm of how our ego works, how the brain works. So we're no longer comparing ourselves to others and going, well, I'm doing a better job than her. look at her, like, oh gee, I'm doing a better job. Or it's actually where you flipped the opposite of like, ooh, they're doing great, I'm not. Ooh, and it's like that. So it's like releasing that old paradigm, and where your blinkers, you just don't see that anymore. You don't need to see it anymore. You don't need to feel it anymore. You don't need to be flipping between inferior and superior egos anymore. The little boy and little girl is being heard. Your needs are being met. So saying something nourishing to yourself, to your heart, you're not just doing it for you. You'd be surprised that as somebody who's like sensitive to energy, and I know a good few of you out there are, you're quite intuitive and energetically quite sensitive. When you feel that sense of expansion in the heart space, and you're really reflecting in and sending in that love and feeling it then for humanity. Because when you do for self, don't forget you do it for humanity as well. You do it for your family as well. Because everything is a ripple. The butterfly, flaps its wings. Essentially, the heart is flapping its wings. It's pulsing out that love. It's having an effect in those around you, but also globally. And even like today being World Peace Day, when everybody did that peace meditation, when everybody took that couple of seconds, couple of minutes out, dropped in and felt the peace within them, and felt that peace for all of humanity, yes, it has a global effect. Absolutely has a global effect. So why wouldn't you? What's holding you back? What's holding you back? Would you be willing to love yourself even more right now and start doing something like this? See if it works for you. Play with it. That's kind of my message for this evening. And let me know if anybody has any comments, any thoughts on this. I would love to know. Please make a shout out in the comments. Please share. Yeah, that's kind of it from me, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Christine and Andre. Sending you love. And Pam. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you so much, Pooja. Just to let you know, lads, Pooja is actually, Andre, wow, loads of love. Pooja is holding a retreat this November in Nepal, in Kathmandu, and it's going to be a beautiful journey into the self. It's a 5-day retreat, I think, but I will, the details are actually on my page if anybody wants to look it up. So she's a wonderful, wonderful soul holding these retreats. Okay, guys, sending you loads of love. Bye.